Last week we had a video talking about death wobbles, or as some people call it, a tank slapper. That video has generated a lot of discussion on YouTube and among subscribers of the channel, so I wanted to continue the discussion this week. You know, one of my favorite things about MCrider community is how willing everyone is to help their fellow riders out. So immediately after I released last week's video, I got a message from a friend of mine, Mike Savage, who has firsthand experience with the death wobble. This week we let Mike tell his story of his incident and we see what we can learn from that. But before we get to Mike, I want to introduce you to a company that'll be sponsoring MCrider over the next 4 weeks, Lemon Rock Bike Tours. What inspired you to ride a motorcycle? Why did you get your first motorcycle? Well, if you're like most people, you got a motorcycle because you wanted an adventure. We talk a lot about road skills and road strategy on MCrider. The reason we develop those skills is not just for safety, it's also because of where those skills can take us and the people we can meet along the way. Lemon Rock Bike Tours offers full-service motorcycle tours in Ireland and Scotland. They have a tour scheduled July 12th through July 27th called Lands of the Celts. On this tour, you'll see some of the most beautiful sights, ride some of the most technical roads, and explore some of the best hidden gems that Ireland and Scotland have to offer. If you're looking for an adventure, there's no better place to put your skills to use than with Lemon Rock Bike Tours. Leave the planning to them and let Lemon Rock show you some of the best roads in Ireland and Scotland. Go to mcrider.com/lemonrock and book their Land of the Celts tour and give yourself that adventure. It's why we ride, and it's why nothing compares to riding a motorcycle on some of the most beautiful roads in the world. I'm looking to go for a ride with them next year, and then I'll be able to say, I'll see you on the road in Ireland. So Mike reached out to me last week and sent this video over to me about his experience. So let's hear from Mike firsthand and what he's got to say.
Hi, my name is Mike Savage, and I watch Kevin's MCrider every week. Last week he talked about a death wobble. I had a death wobble in 2014 coming back from a 2-week camping trip with 3 of my friends. We were 60 miles east of Amarillo near a town called Clarendon, and my bike began to feel funny on the rear end. I was fully loaded with camping gear on the bike. I'd ride it was a 2013 Ultra Limited. I moved to the left lane thinking it was tar snakes on the road, and the bike continued to wobble. It got harder and harder to control the bike, and eventually I was thrown off the bike. I did not apply any brakes because when it started to wobble, I realized I had no rear brakes, and I knew if I hit the front brake, I would have high-sided and flew over. So I used no brakes, let off the throttle, and let it come down to a lower speed. I was traveling about 75 miles an hour when the wobble started. The bike threw me off. My whole goal was to stay with the bike, keep my feet on the floorboards, and stay with the bike all the way to the ground. That didn't happen. I was thrown off, and I tumbled about 75 yards, and that was verified by the state troopers and the paramedics. I ended up with very little injuries, just a sprained ankle. I had full gear on. I had a helmet. I had everything I needed. The bike was total, and that was one of the scariest trips I ever had, but that death wobble was for real, and it was my fault. And here's why it was my fault. We had checked our bikes. It was a brand new tire on the rear, but we did not check our tires every time. And I got a nail in it somewhere on our 2-week trip. And that's what caused the death wobble. I just wanted to share this with all of Kevin's MCrider friends to realize that you must check your bike and do your t-clocs all the time. Thank you very much.
You know, I really appreciate riders who are willing to stand up and share their story and help a fellow rider out. So thank you, Mike, for sharing your account this week. I met Mike a few years ago at the North Texas Motorcycle Challenge. Mike was riding in the event, and he's a regular in these types of events and helping other riders increase their skills on a motorcycle. Here's some actual footage of Mike riding in an event. I think this one happened to be in Arizona where he was riding. So there's no doubt that Mike knows what he's doing on a motorcycle, but in spite of all of his skills on a motorcycle, his self-admitted failure to keep an eye on his tires cost him that day. Man, we've all been there. We get in a hurry, we fail to give a motorcycle a quick check before we get out on the highway. So Mike reminded everyone to perform that t-clocs inspection on their motorcycle. If you don't know what that is, I have a video where we discuss common maintenance issues with a motorcycle and how to perform a thorough t-clocs inspection on your own motorcycle. In fact, you can get a checklist if you sign up for our newsletter to perform that inspection as well. But something else Mike said had a huge impact on his ability to come out of this with just a sprained ankle.
I had full gear on, I had a helmet, I had everything I needed.
That's a good reminder that we don't get a calendar appointment for the day we're going to have a blowout on the highway. No one sends us reminders that the car will be pulling out in front of us at 9 a.m. at the corner of 10th Street and Moultrie Drive. It just happens. What you do before you ever get on a motorcycle may have a huge impact on whether you simply sprain your ankle or end up in the hospital or worse. So wear proper riding gear. Every time you ride a motorcycle on the public streets, wear your gear. For me, every ride on the street, full face helmet, riding jacket, gloves, over the ankle shoes, and boots. It's our last line of defense if things go wrong on a motorcycle, and on that rare occasion when things do go wrong, what you choose to do or not do before you throw a leg over a motorcycle has a huge impact on how your day may end. Till next week, guys, it's Kevin with MCrider, and I'll see you on the road. There are multiple ways to support the channel. You can become a member on YouTube at mcrider.com/member or support the channel through Patreon at mcrider.com/support. Either way, you'll get full access to the forum and the field guides, which will further the training that we release here on a weekly basis.